Everyone has drunk water, swam in it, cried with it, bled in it, and was even born from it. Yet almost no one stops to really think about what water truly is. Not what science says, not what chemistry explains, not what labels tell us, but what water really is when no one's watching or when you hear it for the first time with your soul awake. This isn't a book about staying hydrated. It's not about the benefits of alkaline water or how much water you should drink. This is a deep spiritual journey into one of the oldest, most mysterious, and most sacred parts of the universe. Water. Water that not only keeps us alive, but also remembers, guides, reveals, and heals us. Have you ever felt like a single tear carries a story? Have you noticed how water tastes different when you're calm versus when you're angry? Have you wondered why certain places like seas, rivers, or lakes seem to hold secrets or feelings you can't explain? That's not just your imagination. It's vibration, memory in liquid form, pure consciousness. Water has always been like a mirror where God sees himself without shape or form. It's the only element that's been with you through every stage of your life. It was your first home before birth, your way to express emotions, your container for thoughts, and maybe the greatest spiritual record you carry without even realizing it. Inside this book, you won't find empty words or hidden beliefs. What you will read comes from ancient texts, has been supported by visionary scientists, and confirmed by deep personal experiences of the soul. Because water doesn't just reflect the world around you, it reflects who you are when no one is looking. This book invites you to dive in, not just to refresh, but to remember. When you truly look at water, it shows you the image of your original consciousness. And when you recognize that image, something amazing happens. The healing of everything you thought was lost. What if the biggest secret of the universe is flowing inside you right now? What if water is a powerful force just waiting for you to awaken it? What if all you need to change your life is to learn how to honestly talk to water? Don't keep reading if you're not ready to change everything. But if part of you already feels like water has been waiting for you, this book won't teach you anything new. It will just help you remember what you've always known deep down. Start now and let the water speak. If you'd like to support this project, hit subscribe and like the video. Thanks for inspiring us to keep creating better content for you. You're ready to transform your life. Chapter 1. The Wet Origin of the Spirit, the Hidden Beginning of Water. Before anything had shape, there was flow. Before light, there was a liquid vibration. Before words, there was a silent memory that only water knows. Anyone who has truly wondered where we come from, not just as bodies or even souls, but as pure awareness, has felt in dreams or quiet moments that the first face of God wasn't fire or air, but water. Ancient creation stories don't contradict each other, they add to the picture. When you see them not just as myths, but as spiritual knowledge, they all say the same thing. The universe began in the watery chaos. This chaos wasn't random disorder, but a rich, fertile field waiting to take shape, a nameless liquid intelligence full of endless possibilities. One of the oldest texts we have, the Rig Veda, says in its creation hymn, "In the beginning there was neither being nor non-being. All was water without shores." This isn't poetry or symbolism. It describes an original vibrating substance, an all-present field without a name, because language and existence didn't exist yet. Only water. Plato's Timaeus tells us that the universe's architect, the demiurge, created the world soul from three things: the same, the different, and the mix of both. This mix is like an original fluid, vibrating like water, but not physical water, a kind of substance that existed before the split between body and spirit. So the world soul might be a very subtle form of water, a liquid blueprint that carries both the universe's reflection and its organizing power. Egyptian stories agree. In the mysteries of Hermopolis, they speak of a primeval ocean called Nan, from which gods and forms emerged. Nan isn't lifeless, it's pure consciousness waiting to become shape, word, or particle. Isis in the oldest temples is shown sitting on water surrounded by flowing symbols. Her name includes the signs for throne and flow. She's not just the mother of gold, she's the mother of the entire quantum field. These waters aren't just spiritual ideas, they're invisible structures modern science is just starting to understand. Fluid physics shows that water can organize itself in amazing ways. Unlike solid matter, which stays fixed, water adapts, informs itself, and changes without losing its identity. What flows never stops being itself, but is always renewing. No stone can do that. Jacques Bonveniste, in his controversial research on water memory, suggested that water can remember the vibrations of substances it touched, even after the original substance is gone. He was mocked, silenced, and pushed out of science circles. But like all scientific visionaries, he planted a seed that's now growing in quantum and epigenetic studies. Dr. Gerald Pollack at the University of Washington proposed a fourth phase of water, not liquid, solid, or gas, but a structured, electrically ordered state. This exclusion zone, as he calls it, acts like a biological hard drive, storing energy, order, and maybe information. Modern biology confirms what the ancients knew. Water in our bodies isn't just for transport, it's a messenger, a record keeper. Every cell is surrounded by structured water. Every thought changes that water, and if thought changes water and water changes the body, then thoughts can be medicine or poison depending on their nature. Medieval alchemy, often misunderstood, actually hid the secret of water, not just as an element but as a carrier of the soul. Permanent water, described by Paracelsus and Gerard Dorn, wasn't ordinary water, it held spirit. In their rituals, water wasn't just cleaned, it was awakened. Alchemical water was an active mirror, a kind of spirit container that could absorb astral light, amplify it, and return it in a potion or elixir. What happens when you stare deeply at water? Many have tried. Monks, children, shamans, scientists, and those near death. All say that when looking at still water, there's a strange feeling, as if the water is looking back, as if, for a moment, your mind joins with the liquid consciousness of the universe and recalls something forgotten for ages. Kabbalah teaches that higher worlds come down in drops, that the divine light condenses through vessels, and when pure, those vessels hold water of wisdom. The Sefer Yetzirah speaks of air, ruach, and water, mayim. Mayim is the matrix, the container, the bosom of God. Without mayim, there's no form. Without water, the spirit can't live in the body. An old story tells of a teacher who gave his students water from the same spring, then told them to close their eyes and listen. Each heard a different voice. One his mother, another an ancient sage, another the sea from childhood. The teacher said, "This water has been in the blood of all beings, passed through all bodies, witnessed all thoughts. It doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you need to remember. Everything solid was once liquid, everything mental was vibration, everything divine was water, even you. Practice the water of origin. For 7 nights in a row, before bed, place a glass of pure, still water on your nightstand. In front of it, write a single word that represents something you want to remember about your spiritual origin. Words like truth, memory, beginning, voice, light, will, or vision. Say that word softly to the glass. Close your eyes and picture that word as a vibration entering and activating the water. When you wake, drink the water slowly and silently. Don't expect results. Just let the water's consciousness work on levels deeper than your mind. The water that heals is the water that remembers who you were before you forgot. Chapter 2. The Memory of Water, Science and Revelation. Many people believe water is just a simple, passive substance, without direction, voice, or memory. But this idea is one of the biggest misunderstandings we have today. When we truly observe water without bias and listen without assuming, science is neutral. A new truth starts to appear, one that changes how we see our bodies, our environment, and our minds. Water remembers, and not just that, it also responds. Every drop holds history, feelings, and stories. The water you drink today might once have been part of a pharaoh's blood, an indigenous person's tear, or the vapor that rose when the earth was formed. Water doesn't die or disappear. It changes, flows, carries information, and records itself. It's like the universe's liquid memory. One of the first modern scientists to explore this idea was Jacques Benveniste in the 1980s. He suggested that water could hold information from substances it had touched, even after those substances were gone. This idea, called water memory, was published in the journal Nature, but was quickly criticized and dismissed. Not because the experiments were proven wrong, but because accepting water memory would challenge the foundation of modern chemistry and medicine. Years later, Nobel Prize winner Luc Montagnier, known for discovering HIV, revisited this work. His experiments showed that water could keep electromagnetic signals of DNA, even after the original DNA was completely removed. These signals could be detected, copied, and even sent through low-frequency waves to water in distant test tubes. It seems water can hold information and pass it on, a kind of teaching at the molecular level. These findings echo ancient spiritual ideas. In Kabbalah, the Sephira Bina, understanding, is linked to water, not just as a symbol, but as a vibrating state that stores, condenses, and reflects higher intelligence. Bina, the hidden mother, receives the energy of wisdom, chokmah, and shapes it into form. Its symbol is a vessel inseparable from the water it holds. At this level, water doesn't flow, it becomes a mother. It teaches and imprints. The most famous and controversial modern figure studying water memory is Masaru Emoto. He showed through photographs that water changes based on the emotions behind words, sounds, and thoughts. Emoto exposed water to phrases like, "I love you" and "I hate you," then froze and photographed the crystals. Loving words created beautiful, harmonious patterns, while hateful words produced broken, chaotic shapes. Though critics called his work pseudoscience and said his methods weren't perfect, Emoto wasn't trying to prove science. He was revealing how consciousness affects vibration. If our words change water structure, and our bodies are about 70% water, then every word, emotion, and thought physically affects us. Emoto said, "Water captures intention. It's not about volume or language, but frequency." In his studies, monks, children, and scientists all sent messages to water, and the water responded. Quantum physics is starting to connect these ideas with a new understanding of reality. According to quantum field theory, all matter is vibration, and the most sensitive vibration belongs to structured water. Dr. Gerald Pollack discovered a fourth phase of water, a special zone where molecules line up and hold a stable charge. This water can store energy, respond to light, and reorganize itself intelligently without outside help. This in-between state, neither liquid nor solid, exists in every cell and acts like a smart membrane that records emotions, thoughts, toxins, and habits. It's not just biology, it's the foundation of cellular memory. We don't just remember with our brains, every cell remembers, and each cell remembers through its water. Yat Koyen, author of The Water and the Living Cell, says water acts as a bridge between the soul and body. Consciousness isn't only in the brain, it flows through the body's water as a whole. Some ancient teachings knew this. Hermetic texts speak of the soul as luminous water. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring it forth, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." The key isn't just self-reflection, but purifying your inner water. What we don't say, don't cry over, or don't understand stays in our water as hidden instructions, and eventually, those instructions show up in our lives. There's a story about a disciple who asked his master about enlightenment. The master took him to a spring, gave him water in a wooden bowl, and told him to drink. The disciple asked, "Now what?" The master said, "Now wait." After 3 days of silence, the disciple began to see memories rising like waves in the water. The master explained, "Water shows you what you don't know you carry inside. But if you're restless, you'll only see your own thoughts reflected. Water doesn't judge, it records. It's the perfect scribe of the soul. Water holds every unspoken word, every hidden love, every repeated fear, and when the time is right, it reveals them. Science now confirms what spirituality has long taught. Suppressed emotions harm the immune system, change genes, and cause chronic illness. But before they appear, these emotions travel through the body's water. Your emotional state literally programs the vibrations in your body's water. To change your emotions, you need to restructure your water. To heal, you need to change your thoughts. If your body is a temple, water is the altar. Practice the water diary. For 7 days, fill a clear glass bottle with pure water. Each morning before you drink, write a short, positive, heartfelt phrase on a piece of paper and tape it to the bottle. It can be an affirmation, a blessing, or a sacred word. Then, with full attention, drink the water as if you're drinking that phrase. At the end of the week, notice any changes in your emotions, body, or mind. What did the water show you when you treated it like a conscious being? Remember, it's not magic, it's a language, and water understands everything. Chapter 3. The Waters of the Soul, Emotional Body and Quantum Healing Science tells us that the human body is mostly made of water, about 70% or more. But this fact has been repeated so often in a dry, mechanical way that we forget something important. We're not made of water like machines are made of metal. Instead, water supports us, shapes us, and carries information, kind of like how a thought exists within silence. And it's not just our physical bodies soaked in water. Our emotions, memories, desires, and pain, the language of the soul, are soaked in it too. Water is more than just life support. It reflects our deepest feelings and vibrations. The water inside our bodies responds not just to the laws of physics, but to the gravity of the soul. From ancient alchemy to modern medicine, people have noticed a connection between emotions and illness. What science is only starting to understand is how this happens. The water inside our cells acts as a quantum bridge between feelings and biology. Ancient internal alchemy from Egypt to medieval Hermetic teachings saw the body as a kind of oven where earth, air, fire, and water could be transformed into spiritual gold. The water, called aqua permanens, wasn't just for metals. It could dissolve heavy emotional patterns too. Because emotions are like liquid vibrations, they had to be watched, named, and purified, like handling liquid mercury carefully. Without this process, people would keep reliving the same pain in different ways. Modern biology has found similar ideas through a different path. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in epigenetics, showed that long-lasting emotions, especially ones we bury or keep for a long time, change how our genes behave. This change doesn't happen directly in DNA, but through the electromagnetic fields around our cells. And it's the water around our DNA that holds these vibrational signals. When heavy emotions like fear, anger, or shame aren't dealt with, their energy gets stuck in the water inside our cells, messing up its structure. And when water inside us gets disorganized, it can't carry nutrients or energy well, and it starts to distort things, like a broken mirror showing shattered reflections. Dr. Candace Pere, a neuroscientist, said that emotions really control how our biology works. She found that neuropeptides, chemical messengers in our nervous system, attach to receptors all over our body, not just in the brain. Wherever there are receptors, there's water. So emotions aren't just mental. They're an experience in the body's water. For example, the heart has more structured water than any other organ. That's no accident, since the heart is closely tied to emotions. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that positive emotions like gratitude, compassion, and joy organize the heart's electromagnetic field and the water inside it, creating better health, mental balance, and stronger immunity. On the flip side, negative emotions cause molecular chaos, acidity, and inflammation. So our emotional body is like a liquid network, a vibrational orchestra where each cell is a note and water is the sheet music. If the water is cloudy, the music turns to noise. Ancient Vedic texts say the body has 5 layers, or koshas, one of which is the Manomaya kosha, the mental emotional body. Ayurvedic medicine understood long ago that thoughts create emotions, and emotions get stored in the body as liquid vibrations. So the emotional body isn't some vague aura. It's the way water inside us vibrates with our minds. This means emotional cleansing isn't just a metaphor, it's literally cleaning the water inside. Jack Coyen, in The Water and the Living Cell, goes even further. He says the soul connects to the body through this water network. Water is the real bridge between consciousness and flesh. But this bridge can get cloudy when old emotions, childhood anger, forgotten trauma, family resentment, are left hanging without being released. The body doesn't get sick from weakness, but from holding on to information that should have been transformed. Sufi teaching compares built-up sorrow to stagnant water. It smells, ferments, and turns toxic. But that same water, if it moves, is sung to and cleansed, becomes clear again and heals. One well-known case in holistic medicine involved a woman with chronic pain doctors couldn't explain. After years of failed treatments, a somatic therapist found her pain peaked around the anniversary of her mother's death when she was 6. During a deep bodywork session with breathing exercises, she suddenly sweated a lot, cried hard, and felt nauseous. After an hour, her body released a watery fluid with a strange smell. Tests found no toxins. The therapist said it was emotional memory locked in her body fluids, finally letting go. This might sound unusual, but it's actually common. The body releases only what the soul allows. Internal alchemy teaches that every heavy emotion has the power to transform. Anger, if watched without judgment, shows a deep need for justice. Sadness, when felt fully, turns into compassion. Fear, when breathed through, becomes presence. Each transformation cleans and reorganizes the water inside, like a river returning to its natural flow. A Gnostic text, the Gospel of Truth, says, "What is hidden will be revealed in the transparency of the waters. Their error will be forgiven and the forgotten remembered." These waters are the emotional soul inside the body. Just like a clear glass gets cloudy with mud, but clears when the mud settles, the water inside us can be purified. If we face emotions without fear, move them with awareness, and bless them with truth. This is what quantum healing is about, changing our inner vibration so the body can play its original song again. It's not about controlling emotions, but listening to what they teach. It's not just thinking positive thoughts, but rearranging the water inside us. Our body isn't a prison, it's a river, and we get to decide if it flows freely or gets stuck. Practice decanting breath. Every night, sit quietly with a glass of water in front of you for 7 minutes. Breathe slowly and deeply. With each inhale, name an emotion you want to let go. With each exhale, imagine that emotion turning into mist and drifting into the glass. If you don't feel anything, that's okay. Your intention is enough. When you finish, place your hand on the glass and say softly, "Thank you for showing me what the body keeps silent. Thank you for holding what I no longer need. Thank you for purifying." The next morning, water a plant, tree, or the earth with that water. Don't drink it. Let what you released go back to the cycle, not to you. Do this for 7 days. Your body and soul will notice the difference. Chapter 4. Water as the Mirror of Thought. Liquid Mentalism. In the beginning was the mind. Not just any mind trapped inside a head or a personal story, but a universal vibrating mind that could imagine worlds before they existed. This mind, called the All in Hermeticism, Brahman in Vedanta, and the unified field in quantum science, not only thought but projected. And for projection to take form, it needed a medium. That medium was water. Water isn't just the source of life. It carries ideas. Wherever there is thought, water responds. The mind projects and water reflects. The Kabbalion, a key Hermetic text, says, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." This isn't just philosophy, it's a real way the universe works. If the universe is mental, then everything is a vibration shaped by thought. Since all matter is mental, water, with its sensitive and reflective nature, is the perfect mirror mind uses to see itself. Modern physics supports this idea more than most realize. The quantum world, where particles are possibilities and laws are flexible, changes depending on the observer. The famous double-slit experiment shows that particles behave differently when watched. So what about water, the most fluid and sensitive matter? Water not only reacts to mind, but amplifies it. Unlike a rock which resists, water reflects like a calm lake. When you repeat a thought, it doesn't just stay in your mind. It leaves an impression on your body, and that impression shows in your water. Thoughts create electromagnetic fields that spread from your brain and heart. These fields interact with the water inside your body, changing its structure and harmony. The HeartMath Institute found that the heart creates an electromagnetic field up to 5,000 times stronger than the brain's. This field changes based on your emotions. When you feel love, gratitude, or trust, this field becomes organized, and the water inside your cells forms beautiful balanced patterns. When you feel anxious or fearful, the field becomes chaotic and the water loses its structure. This isn't opinion, it's biology. This is quantum mentalism. Physicist Fritz Albert Popp said our bodies emit tiny light particles called biophotons, which can be influenced by our intentions. These biophotons travel through the cell's structured water. Every thought acts like a laser beam that changes the bonds between water molecules in your body. That's why repeated thoughts create real physical effects even without outside influence. If you hold on to ideas like, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm loved," those vibrations write themselves into your body's water, and water doesn't judge. It just follows orders. Cymatics, a science studied by Hans Jenny, showed how sound waves make geometric patterns on water. The more harmonious the sound, the more beautiful the shape. If this happens with simple machine tones, imagine what happens with thoughts full of emotion, held over time. In Gnostic teachings, the soul is a spark trapped in layers. To express itself, it needs the body, emotions, and language, all of which have water. The soul thinks, the mind interprets, and water records. That's why the ancients knew a sincere prayer needed water to bring intention into the physical world. A Sufi story tells of a student who asked his master why his prayers didn't change his life. The master gave him a bowl of cloudy water and asked him to look at his reflection. The student said, "I see nothing. The image is blurry." The master said, "Your mind is like this bowl. You repeat words but don't clear the water they reflect. Clean your water first, then speak, because water amplifies what you hold, not just what you say." This is liquid mentalism. Thought isn't just creative, it's aquatic. It sends vibrations, reflects images, and shows up in our bodies. In Taoism, water symbolizes wisdom. The Tao Te Ching says, "Water conquers without fighting." But this isn't about control, it's about resonance. Water wins by absorbing, responding, and harmonizing. The mind works the same way. It doesn't judge or block thoughts, it reflects and reveals them. A clear mind organizes water. Clear water strengthens the mind. It's a perfect cycle. Many think healing the mind is just psychological or about positive affirmations. But they forget every thought has a vibration that directly affects the body's water. Healing isn't just thinking positive, it's thinking with structure and balance, holding ideas that bring harmony and stability to your body's liquid system. As the alchemist Ramon Llull said, "Everything thought with passion is written in the blood's water." This isn't poetry, it's spiritual physics. Practical exercise. Mirror thought. For 7 days, pick one clear, meaningful thought you want to plant in your water. Write it on a paper. Be specific and honest. For example, "I am in harmony with my body. Everything inside me works to heal. I am supported by life." Each night before bed, place a glass of water on your paper. Look at the water silently for 1 minute. Hold your thought clearly while breathing deeply. The next morning, drink the water slowly, as if drinking your own reflection. Do it with care and presence. True harmony comes from inside, not from rituals. At the end of the week, your body won't just have had water, it will have received a liquid reflection of your soul's thought. Chapter 5. The Secret Language of Water. Forms, Symbols, and Geometry. If you watch morning frost, a snowflake hanging in the air, or the still surface of a lake closely, something special starts to show itself. Water isn't just movement, it's structure. It's not random chaos, but a deep order hidden beneath constant change. While most people just see moisture, wise observers see patterns. Where many see simplicity, the initiated see the universe's secret alphabet. Water speaks, but not with words. It speaks in shapes. And where there's beautiful, balanced geometry, there's intelligence. Why do ice crystals form hexagons? Why do snowflakes always have 6 perfectly balanced arms, each one unique? The answer isn't just in chemistry. It's in a hidden intelligence using shapes to send messages. Geometry isn't decoration, it's a fundamental language. The hexagon is nature's strongest shape for organizing energy and space. You find it in honeycombs, carbon rings, the clouds on Saturn, and the center of the flower of life pattern, repeated over and over in perfectly formed water crystals. Masaru Emoto's experiments showed that when water freezes, it takes on clear geometric shapes if it's been exposed to music, prayers, or positive thoughts. This beauty isn't just pretty, it's information. The shapes water forms reveal the quality of the feelings behind them. Words like thank you or love create symmetrical, almost architectural crystals. But negative words like hate or kill yourself make broken, shapeless fragments. What Emoto was really seeing was the soul's handwriting in water, a script that needs no ink because it unfolds live under cosmic laws that go beyond language. In the 20th century, researcher Victor Schauberger studied how water moves, not straight but in spirals and vortices, alive and flowing. He noticed these patterns are like DNA, cocoons, or galaxies, a golden spiral. His advice was simple: to understand nature, copy its shapes. Schauberger found that forcing water to flow in sharp right angles, like through pipes, makes it lose energy and life. But when water flows naturally along curves, it creates an organized energy field that cleans, heals, and restores. This is geometry in action. Sacred geometry is basically the grammar of creation. Since ancient times, wise people knew that shapes aren't random. They're vibrations made visible. The flower of life, a symbol found in Egyptian temples, Mayan texts, and medieval books, contains all the patterns that form the universe. It holds the golden ratio, the seed of life, the tree of life, and the Metatron's cube. When water is near these shapes, whether by sight or vibration, it responds, lines up, and organizes itself. It's like water recognizes home and says, "This is my language. This is where I belong." Hebrew letters, especially the ancient square ones, are coded geometric figures. The Tetragrammaton, YHVH, the sacred name of God, isn't just a word but a vibration carrying the sequence of creation. Some Kabbalists believed saying this name over water makes a glowing hexagonal form visible only to those who can see beyond normal sight. Vedic mantras work the same way. Each Sanskrit sound, like Om, Ram, or Hum, carries a vibration that changes water's microscopic structure. Cymatics, the study of sound shapes, proves this. Sound waves make patterns on liquids, and every mantra draws its own mandala, a unique map. Scientist John Stuart Reid invented a tool called the cymoscope that shows how sound affects water. He found every voice, note, and word creates a distinct shape. When harmonic sounds like Gregorian chants or Tibetan mantras are played, water forms patterns that look like the rose windows in Gothic cathedrals. That's no accident. Cathedrals were designed with these sacred proportions because their builders knew that shapes could raise your spirit. The same thing happens inside your body. When water organizes itself, your consciousness lifts. When consciousness lifts, your body starts healing. A Rosicrucian story tells of an alchemist who spent hours staring at a drop of water on a stone. People thought he was crazy, but he said, "This drop remembers what I have forgotten." Every curve is a letter in the language the soul spoke before birth. Water's secret language isn't spoken, it's seen and felt. Like a crystal holds memories in stone, water holds memories in liquid form. And this form is shaped by thoughts, sounds, light, and intention. Every time you look at a spring, a tear, or a glass of water, you're not just seeing liquid, you're looking into a mirror that says, "This is how the invisible takes shape." Water teaches us that every emotion has a form, every thought leaves a mark, and every prayer is an invisible drawing etched into life itself. So, understanding water's geometry is like reading the handwriting of God. Practical exercise, geometric activation. Take a clean glass of pure water and place it on top of an image of the flower of life, or any sacred geometric figure you like. You can draw it or print it out. If you want, light a candle and play soft, pure tones, like mantras or music tuned to 432 Hz. For 7 minutes, quietly watch the water and the shape underneath. Breathe slowly and picture the shape sinking into the water as if it's printed inside. When you finish, say softly, "May my inner structure remember the perfect form of creation." May every cell regain its balance. May my water reflect the harmony of the universe. Drink the water slowly as if you're drinking a code. Do this every day for a week. Let the shape organize you. Chapter 6. Woman and Water, Universal Matrix and Creative Portal. There's a kind of wisdom that isn't taught with words but felt and carried quietly. It comes through presence, love, and openness. In every spiritual tradition, this wisdom has a face, the feminine, and a substance, water. Woman and water have been linked since the beginning, not just as symbols, but as reflections of the same cosmic truth, the one that welcomes, gives shape, and transforms without force. Since the earliest stories of creation, the feminine has been connected to deep waters. In Egypt, Nut was the sky ocean. In Sumer, Tiamat was the first sea. In the Bible, before God spoke, the Spirit moved over the waters. And in biology, before birth, every human floats for 9 months in a liquid world, the womb, an intimate ocean, a tiny universe. But reducing the feminine to just pregnancy misses the point, just like reducing woman to only the role of giving life. Water doesn't just create bodies, it builds bridges between different dimensions. And women don't just create children, they bring whole realities into being through their emotional, hormonal, and spiritual energy. In Gnostic teachings, Sophia, divine wisdom, is a pure light from the all that, by looking into the abyss, descends into the physical world. Her fall isn't punishment but a compassionate act of embodiment. Her spiritual self, scattered across all worlds, is also the water of the feminine that remembers what the mind has forgotten. Every woman carries a piece of Sophia. In her hormones, tears, and menstrual cycle, there's a dance that's more than biology, it's mystical. Modern science is starting to notice what women have always known. The menstrual cycle isn't just hormones, it's a vibrational clock connected to the moon, emotions, and the collective unconscious. The fluid in the uterus changes with mood, thoughts, and the moon's phases. Each month, the uterus prepares a watery temple. If no baby comes, that water is released, but the information stays. Ancient cultures used menstrual blood in healing and spiritual rituals, knowing it wasn't waste, but a message from invisible worlds. Vedic tradition talks about Shakti, the primal feminine energy that moves the universe. Shakti is pure consciousness, and matter is the water that lets that consciousness show up. Its vibration, dance, womb, and silent language. The female body isn't passive, it's a sacred lab of Shakti. Water inside a woman doesn't just flow, it resonates. Each emotion, intuition, act of love or surrender changes her internal water. Because the uterus is surrounded by nerves and energy fields, this change spreads through her body and beyond. Studies show a woman's body water changes in pH, electrical charge, and structure based on her mood, not just symbolically, but physically. A woman in peace and love radiates a liquid harmony measurable feet away. A woman in conflict does the same, but in a different way. That's why grandmothers knew not to cook when sad. Food absorbs the cook's emotional water, and why many cultures had rituals when a woman was unclean, not because she was dirty, but because she was open, a bridge between worlds. A Sufi story tells of a woman crying by a well. When asked why, she said, "My daughter has died." A wise elder said, "Let your tears flow into the well. Then, when others drink this water, they'll receive the love you couldn't yet give." Feminine tears aren't just salty water, they're messages and bridges. When a woman cries with awareness, she cleanses her inner water. When she honors her cycle, she renews the earth inside and out. When she loves honestly, her water lifts the energy around her. This isn't idealizing women, it's spiritual science. Neuroscience shows women have stronger connections between the brain's two halves, blending logic and intuition. And what connects this? Water, cerebral fluid, lymph, plasma, that carries feelings from heart to mind. Women's bodies know before their minds do, and this knowing flows through water. True spirituality needs respect for the feminine. True healing needs understanding the water women carry and reveal. Women aren't more emotional because of weakness. Their water is closer to the source. Their intuition isn't irrational. It's a deep, pre-thought knowing. Their care isn't giving up. It's alchemy. Their sensitivity isn't fragility. It's a radar. When a woman sees her womb not just as an organ but as a portal, and her water not just as moisture but as a gateway between worlds, real healing begins. The world is sick because it forgot its mother, and water is her voice. Practical exercise, the altar of feminine water. For 7 days, find a quiet moment to sit before a bowl of pure water. If you're a woman, place it by your belly. If you're a man, place it by your chest. Breathe deeply and connect with your feminine side, not as gender, but as a principle. Speak to the water like you would to your mother, guide, or memory. You can say softly, "Restore what I have forgotten. Heal what's broken. Bring me back to the sacred." If you're a woman in your cycle, add a drop of menstrual water to the bowl, literal or symbolic. If not, offer a tear, a word, or a chant. After 7 days, pour the water on a plant or in the earth. Don't keep it. Let the feminine wisdom of water keep creating worlds. Chapter 7. Baptism, Rituals, and Sacred Water. The mystical power of the simple human history is deeply connected to water, not just as a resource but as a living, sacred gift. From the earliest cultures to organized religions, water has been the special link between humans and the divine, between what we can see and what we can't, between the physical and the spiritual. But today, water is often seen as just something to drink or use, forgetting its original role, a doorway. Water doesn't just clean the body, it opens your energy field. It doesn't just refresh your skin, it rewrites the memory of your soul. Every culture knows that passing through water with focused intention is more than a symbol. It's a spiritual tool. When your intention is clear, the water itself changes. It becomes sacred. In the Gospels, Jesus begins his ministry with baptism, not a miracle or a sermon, but a bath. When Jesus came to the Jordan River to be baptized by John, the river wasn't just background, it was the main character. John wasn't just pouring water, he was awakening an ancient memory, and the heavens opened. Baptism wasn't new, it came from the Essenes and their purification rituals, where water was seen as a vibrational field where the soul could be renewed. The Jordan River still calls those who feel something alive in its flow, as if its waters remember that day. This isn't just a story. Water has memory, and ritual intention turns it into a gateway. In Islam, the water of Zamzam is sacred. It sprang miraculously beneath Ishmael's feet when his mother Hagar searched desperately in the desert. This spring has never dried up in over 3,000 years, and millions of pilgrims drink from it every year, believing in its power to heal, bless, and purify. Science has found that Zamzam water has a more stable molecular structure than other waters, even after long travel. Its electromagnetic field is stronger, and frozen crystals show symmetrical, sacred geometric shapes. But the real secret isn't just the water itself. It's the shared faith and spiritual energy built up over centuries, because water, as we've learned, never forgets. Native peoples in the Americas also honored water as a powerful medicine. In Temazcal, sweat lodge rituals, fire, steam, and prayer transform water into a conductor of memories, visions, and emotional release. Healers sing to the water, calling it grandmother, liquid mother, or spirit of the river. In jungle shamanic ceremonies, river water is used to call ancestors, heal unseen wounds, and open doors to other realities. It's common for people to tremble, cry, or sweat, not just physically, but as a sign their soul is passing through the water's opened threshold. In Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam, water stands for the truth that dissolves the ego. The poet Rumi wrote, "Immerse yourself in the river of non-being and you will emerge as what you always were." The cleansing before prayer, called wudu, isn't just about hygiene, it's preparing your vibration. Touching water reminds the dervish that the body is clay brought to life by consciousness, and only a pure heart can hear the silent voice within. The full ritual bath, or wusul, follows big life moments like birth, death, or marriage, because water restores the soul's original balance. The body gets wet, but the soul returns to its center. Science isn't far behind. Dr. Beverly Rubik's research shows that when we consciously connect with energized water, the body's electromagnetic field becomes more balanced. In other words, after ritual baths done with intention, your aura's structure improves. It doesn't matter if the water is from a river, shower, or bowl. What matters is the awareness you bring to it. In fact, water blessed through sound, prayer, or sacred shapes has been shown to lower stress hormones, increase heart rhythm variability, and activate brain areas linked to empathy and reflection. This isn't just managing stress, it's the physiology of the soul. The best part about sacred water? It's simple and available to everyone. You don't need temples, priests, or rituals, just presence. When a child washes their hands with gratitude, when a mother bathes her child with love, or when someone lets their tears wash over their face, a ritual is already happening. There's no ordinary water, just sleeping consciousness, and water awakens anyone who treats it with respect. A Kabbalistic story says that at the end of time, every soul will face a bowl of water, showing all the times it didn't immerse its body, words, or feelings, and also all the times it blessed, purified, and gave. Water is a mirror, a record, a path, and a return. When you bathe, you either cleanse or renew. When you drink, you either hydrate or realign. When you cry, you either weaken or free yourself. It all depends on intention, and when intention touches water, water becomes sacred, practical exercise. Your own baptism. Pick a day and place where you can be alone with water, a shower, river, or tub. Before getting in, sit quietly for a few minutes. Imagine the water as a living being, a gateway, a mother. Softly say, "May this water remember who I am. May this water return to me what I have forgotten. May this water wash away what I no longer need." Step into the water slowly. Wet your face first, then your chest, then the top of your head. Picture the water entering every cell, not just to clean, but to rewrite its memory. When you finish, don't dry off right away. Let the water dry naturally, like letting a blessing settle. Do this once a week for a month and notice how your inner silence changes. Chapter 8. Water and Sound, the word that shapes reality. Everything started with a sound, not an explosion or some random cosmic event or emptiness echoing. At its core, creation was a steady vibration, an intention that turned into a frequency. That frequency turned into form, and that form turned into life. When God said, "Let there be light," it wasn't just a spiritual idea, it was a kind of physics. Because words don't just describe reality, they create it. And wherever there is a word, water is listening. Water isn't just a medium for sound to pass through. It holds, amplifies, and shapes what sound carries. Sound moves through water differently than it does through air. In water, sound actually changes. Scientists like Ernst Chladni and Hans Jenny studied cymatics, how tiny particles like sand or powder arrange themselves into clear geometric patterns when exposed to certain sound frequencies. What looked like chaos suddenly became beautiful, ordered shapes. The tone decides the shape. Vibrations control matter. When applied to water, this science showed something even more amazing. Water changes its internal structure with every sound. What you see is shaped by what you don't see. Molecules move to the rhythm of the word. Every word we speak, every sentence we say, creates a vibration pattern that water takes in and turns into form. In the Gospel of John, it doesn't say God made the world with hands, but with voice. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh. What does it mean for a vibration to become flesh? It means consciousness, expressed as sound, takes physical form, and it does so through water. Our bodies are basically solid water, thoughts turned liquid, words captured in a form that remembers it is water. Water hears everything, spoken and unspoken words, loud prayers and silent moments. Every sound frequency, every feeling, every thought is recorded in the water in our bodies, and even passed on. The practice of micro-Sufi chanting, repeating the divine names, isn't just mindless mantra. Each of the 99 names of Allah is like a vibrational key, unlocking parts of the soul. The Sufi repeats these names with mind, chest, belly, and blood, knowing the water in his body changes shape with each chant. The controlled breathing, the repeated sound, the sacred tone, all come together in a liquid kind of alchemy. When the channel opens deep, the body shakes, tears come, pores open. This isn't just emotion, it's water physically rearranging itself to the sound calling it. Masaru Emoto showed with frozen water crystals that kind words like "I love you" or "thank you" make beautiful symmetrical shapes, while mean phrases like "you disgust me" create broken, messy forms. Water picks up the emotional meaning of sounds and turns it into shape. This idea is universal. What you say shapes who you are, because words enter the ear and also the water inside you. Researcher John Stuart Reid used a device called the cymoscope to show how the human voice, when filled with clear emotion, makes patterns in water that look like rose windows or spirals. The old architects knew this. That sound could shape the soul. So they designed cathedrals to be sung in, not just looked at. Gregorian chants don't just decorate a space, they transform it, changing the water in the listener's body. Ancient cultures understood this well. Vedic mantras, Amazonian songs, Navajo chants, African music, Hebrew psalms. They all work on the same idea. Repeating sounds changes the energy around us. Since the environment and our bodies are mostly water, every chant is like healing through vibration. A mother singing to her child helps align him. A man sitting quietly reshapes his inner self. A group chanting together creates a shared field where water moves with the spirit's rhythm. And silence also has power. Deep silence isn't empty. It's a frequency of rest. When you stay quietly present, water calms, reflects, and remembers. Monks taught this by repeating Jesus' name, not to convince God, but to organize their own inner space. The name wasn't just a prayer, it was a place to live. And in that place, water became a mirror. Everything in you vibrates. Your heart beats at a rhythm water can hear. Your thoughts make waves that water reads. Your voice doesn't just share ideas, it shapes reality. Saying "I am peace" isn't just a positive thought. It's a message to the water in your cells to match that vibration. Saying "I'm worthless" sends a signal of disharmony that can show up as sickness or tiredness. Water doesn't judge what it hears, but it changes whatever it hears into form. And you, made of water, are the visible result of the invisible sounds you carry. There's an old Hebrew story about the prophet Elijah hiding in a cave, searching for God. He didn't find God in thunder, earthquakes, or fire. He found God in the soft whisper of silence. That whisper is the vibration water recognizes as the source. A true prayer doesn't try to convince God. It restores lost harmony, and water inside you responds. Healing as it responds. Try this. The water mantra. Every night for a week, get a glass of pure water and set it in front of you. Close your eyes and pick one word you need most, like clarity, strength, healing, or presence. For 5 minutes, quietly repeat that word, slowly, letting your breath flow with it. Notice how the water feels, not as shapes you can see, but as a change in the feeling around it. When you're done, say silently, "May this word take form, and may this form remind me who I am." Then drink the water slowly like you're receiving a message. Do this for 7 days. Let the word become flesh and let your body remember where it came from. Chapter 9. The Waters Above. Water as Spiritual Intelligence. Some questions don't come from just wanting to know facts. They come from a feeling deep inside, like a memory we can't fully remember. This is one of those questions. Does spirit exist on subtle levels? If it does, what kind of awareness does it have? What memories does it hold? Both ancient wisdom and modern science seem to hint at the same idea, even if they don't say it outright, that water isn't just a physical thing, but a visible sign of a deeper, invisible intelligence. An intelligence that speaks not through words, but through shape, vibration, and memory. When the old teachings talk about the waters above, they aren't just telling a story or using poetry. It's a kind of secret code referring to a living, conscious substance that exists before physical creation. In the Zohar, a key text in Jewish mysticism, it says creation happened through separation. The Most High split the waters above from the waters below. The Bible also says in Genesis 1, God made the expanse and separated the waters below from the waters above. Many think this means the physical sky, but Kabbalists understood it differently. The waters above are the purest levels of the divine soul, liquid light where ideas live before they become things. In Hermetic teachings, these waters are a kind of astral substance, an etheric field full of information that hasn't yet turned into physical form. They are fields, not bodies, water before it becomes solid. The Book of Urantia, a spiritual text from the 20th century with a complex cosmology, talks about spiritual water flowing through morontial worlds, realms between the physical and spiritual. This water carries life, consciousness, and helps souls evolve. It can't be seen or touched by normal senses, but is essential for higher existence. So water doesn't disappear in higher realms. It becomes more refined and spiritual. The Apocalypse of Moses, an ancient text describing visions of the afterlife, talks about a river of living water flowing from God's throne. This water doesn't wet or soak, but penetrates, lights up, and awakens. Many mystics, Christian saints, Hindus, Sufis, Gnostics have described similar visions. A clear, flowing river that acts more like intelligence than a physical substance. Science is starting to explore this idea too. Dr. Gerald Pollack's research on the fourth phase of water shows that water can store electrical charge and hold organized information over time. Liquid crystals in water can sense invisible influences and rearrange themselves without physical force. In other words, they respond to consciousness. Some researchers think this structured water could be the physical basis for what ancient traditions called the soul or a spiritual record. The most surprising idea is this. The soul itself may be encoded in water, not just as a metaphor, but as real vibrational patterns. Every deep experience, every strong thought, every act of honesty or betrayal leaves a mark in the water inside our cells. When we die, this mark is released into the energy field around us and kept as part of the soul's archive. This idea is the root of karma. This spiritual water is what mystics call the book of life. Maybe each time we're reborn, that ancient information is rewritten into new water. Sufi tradition says water records everything the heart can't say. Vedanta teaches the soul is like a drop from the ocean Brahman, separate but still part of the whole. So the soul doesn't rise as vapor to heaven. It returns to the original ocean, still remembering. Many people who've had near-death experiences describe crossing a river or being bathed in a kind of liquid light, a vibration like another kind of water. These stories from different cultures and times point to a shared truth. The highest spirit also shows itself as water, but a different kind of water. An old Hermetic story says the soul drinks from one fountain at birth to forget where it came from, and from another at death to remember what it really is. Both fountains are water, and both live inside you. One is the water you drink every day. The other is the water deep in your consciousness. The waters above aren't far away. They live in your soul's purest memory, waiting to be woken up in your dreams, in sudden insights, in the love you can't explain. They're in the tears that don't come from your eyes but form around you, in the compassion you don't say, but that changes your inner energy. This spiritual water supports you even if you can't see it. When you meditate, pray, get centered, or love, your inner water lines up with those waters above. Then you get visions. Your body feels lighter, your words have power, and your silence feels alive. The soul doesn't have to go anywhere. It just needs to remember it's already swimming in God's invisible river. Try this, the remembrance of the river. Before going to sleep, place a bowl of water by your bed. Turn off the lights and sit quietly with your eyes closed. Imagine that the water in the bowl didn't come from a tap, river, or rain, but from the waters above. Imagine it holds the memory of where you come from. Ask quietly, what have I forgotten? What do I need to remember? Don't expect an answer right away. Sleep with the bowl near you. When you wake, drink the water like you're drinking an ancient memory. Do this for 7 nights in a row. You might not remember anything in words, but you'll feel a part of you that was dry start to flow again. Chapter 10. The Inner Water, Our Body's Liquid Technology and Personal Healing. You don't have to look for the divine in far-off places or ancient temples once you understand the mystery of what's already inside you. True divinity doesn't show up in grand, flashy ways. It lives in the small, quiet things. And nothing in the human body is both so ordinary and so sacred as the water inside it. This silent, flowing water is both a biological technology and a path to spiritual healing. What people have often called the soul is really just water vibrating with consciousness. This is the key point. Up to now, we've talked about water as mirror, memory, resonance, form, or bridge. But now it's time to see it as a tool for conscious change. Because it's not enough to know water holds memory, we have to learn how to write in it. It's not enough to know water responds. We have to learn what to make it respond to. Your body is like a highly programmable liquid system. Every cell has structured water that reacts to things like light, sound, intention, emotions, chemistry, and breathing. Every cell is a mini lab. Every drop of your body's fluid is like a page, and you're the writer. Science has shown that the water inside cells doesn't flow like regular tap water. It's organized in layers and networks that act like filters, carriers, and sensors. Dr. Gerald Pollack discovered this special water has an exclusion zone, an ordered area that controls what gets inside the cell and what stays out. This ordered water is the front line of the soul. It's where the vibrations of our emotions, thoughts, and habits get stored. When a negative thought keeps repeating, that pattern becomes stronger. When a heavy emotion is held back, the water clumps together. When trauma stays inside, the water's structure breaks down, which harms how cells communicate. Exchange ions, get oxygen, and remember, this isn't just a metaphor, it's real biology based on vibrations. And just like this system can get messed up, it can also heal and rebuild itself. The body can fix its inner water if it's given the right code, and that code isn't medicine from outside. It's a mix of steady intention, emotional balance, mindful breathing, good vibrations from food, and positive words. The ancients knew this well. In Taoism, drinking tea wasn't just about digestion, it was an alchemical ritual. The leaves were picked for their vibrational energy. The water was charged with intention, and drinking was a sacred moment. The liquid wasn't just swallowed. It was absorbed like a mantra in liquid form, affecting the body through vibration, not just chemistry. In Jewish tradition, ritual baths weren't just for cleaning. They were for rearranging your inner vibration. Before praying, entering the temple, or starting the Sabbath, you had to pass through water, but not just any water. Water blessed with sacred words, silence, and focus. After these baths, a person didn't just feel clean, they felt renewed. The Maya used cacao and honey not only as food, but as emotional tools. The liquid carried the plant's memory, sunlight energy, and the priest's intention, all of which reprogrammed the drinker's emotional state. Now science is starting to catch up with what ancient wisdom always knew. Conscious cellular hydration, a term doctors like Schwartz and Genabria use, means more than just drinking water. It means drinking water your body can truly receive, resonate with, absorb, and transform. It means preparing yourself to receive water as a message. That takes deep, steady breathing before drinking. Oxygen helps organize your inner system and opens the channels to receive. You need clear intention, not just drinking out of habit, but with awareness, like saying, "This water orders my system. This water cleans out what I don't need." Also, drink in silence. Don't talk or think stressful thoughts while drinking. Water listens and reacts to movement too. When water inside your body or life gets stuck, it becomes a burden. Walking, dancing, stretching, all help water refresh itself. Sunlight matters as well. The sun activates the liquid crystals in your body. Photosynthesis isn't just for plants. Your body's water responds to light too. When you bring all these things together, your body begins to rearrange its inner water. In doing this, it changes your biology, energy, emotions, and even your future. The life you live depends on what your water allows. If water holds memory, then changing your body's water is also changing your soul. This doesn't need fancy labs, it just needs your presence. A woman who drinks water silently each morning while looking at the sun is changing herself. A man who drinks tea at night with gratitude is writing new codes into his emotional system. A child who talks to the water he drinks is activating his spiritual biology. An older woman who sings while bathing is clearing away memories that aren't even hers. Your body is a lab of liquid magic, and you are your own doctor, priest, and programmer. An old Egyptian story tells how the god gave the first healer a clay vessel of water and said, "Don't try to heal the sick. Just remember that the original name of the soul is written in water, and it will do the healing. That name is in each of us, and it's remembered in our water." Practical exercise, the water reprogramming ritual. For the next 7 mornings, do this ritual as soon as you wake up. Fill a glass with pure water and sit quietly before it. Take 3 deep breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth. With each breath out, imagine you're clearing your inner energy. Hold your hands just above the glass without touching it. Whisper softly, "Water, remember my truth. This water heals my memory. This water restores me." Then drink slowly, noticing how each sip rewrites your inner structure. Do this for a week. Don't expect immediate results. Just pay attention to how your energy, digestion, emotions, and dreams shift. Water doesn't need to understand. It just needs to be programmed with your awareness, and your body will become its own healed temple. Chapter 11. The Water That Feels. Hidden Studies and Memories of Past Lives. There are waters that sleep, waters that dream, and then there are waters that remember. They hold memories the body has forgotten, the mind has pushed away, and the soul hasn't yet named. Water doesn't just react to what's happening now. It carries memories from deep time, the soul's own timeline. This chapter goes beyond the ordinary. Here, water isn't just a reflection or a tool. It's a witness, an oracle, an archive of many lives. Not just some mystical idea, but because water's vibrations don't stop at just one lifetime. If water can remember a word spoken 5 minutes ago, it can also hold an ancient promise, a forgotten vow, or an emotion from another life. The ancients knew this. In the Orphic mysteries, initiates were told to drink from 2 springs beyond life, the spring of Lethe to forget, and the spring of Mnemosyne to remember. The soul had to choose. Drinking from Mnemosyne meant keeping memories from past lives and waking up in consciousness, instead of just being born again. What exactly those springs were, no one really knows. Only that they were waters charged with special vibrations, meant to reopen the soul's memory. In the Eleusinian mysteries honoring Demeter and Persephone, water also played a key role. A special drink called kykeon, made from barley, mint, and sacred water, was consumed. It didn't just affect the body, but sparked visions, memories, and soul revelations. People who took part said they no longer feared death, not because they believed it, but because they had seen their lives before this one. Modern science has been cautious and sometimes hid its boldest findings, but some have leaked out. In the 1970s, secret labs in Eastern Europe studied aquatic psychometry, how water can capture and show emotional memories of those who touch it. One secret report told about a woman with no mental health history who took part in an experiment. Her hands were placed in water that had been vibrationally charged with ancient Orphic chants. As soon as her hands touched the water, she went into a trance and began speaking in an old language, an ancient Greek dialect. She described a temple, a ritual death, and a farewell song. Later, researchers found her words matched parts of gold tablets from the 19th century. How did she know these things? No one answered. The project was shut down, but the files remain. They show that water, when activated with certain frequencies and symbols, can unlock memories not stored in the brain, but in the soul's field. According to Theosophy and other spiritual traditions, the Akashic records aren't physical books or libraries. They're a vibrational field holding everything, every action, thought, and feeling of every being across all levels of existence. And this field, say thinkers like Rudolf Steiner and Annie Besant, can be accessed through water. In many mystical schools, water is seen as a bridge between the mind and higher spiritual planes. Those who learn to reach deep vibrational silence can read water, not as fortune-telling, but as decoding vibrations. That's why ancient mediums used black water bowls to see visions or slept with water under their beds to have lucid dreams. Water doesn't create visions, it passes them on. Regression therapists like Brian Weiss and Michael Newton have recorded many cases where sounds or even salty water brought back memories from other lives. People often cry, shake, or feel real physical pain, not from today's emotions but as echoes from past events. Some even speak old languages or recall historical facts that can be checked. Yet few studies focus on water's role in these experiences. In over half of the deepest regressions, water was nearby: baths, bowls, mist, lakes, or rain. Coincidence? Or maybe water, when activated with the right intention, opens the soul's memory. During fieldwork in the Amazon, a woman told me her grandmother healed her from a strange illness by having her drink river water at midnight for 13 full moons. Not just any water. The water was kept in a clay bowl sealed with a prayer in Quechua. Before drinking, she had to say, "Return me to who I was before birth." After this ritual, she felt connected to another time, another name, another language. Her body healed, but her identity changed. She said, "I wasn't cured, I was remembered." Maybe that's why water also prays. It's seen everything: blood, oceans, tears, sweat of birth, saliva of betrayal, incense, smoke. Every drop has passed through millions of bodies and recorded not just matter moving, but the soul whispering. When you cry without knowing why, when a beach moves you deeply, when the sound of water makes you close your eyes, it might not be just emotion. It could be liquid memory waking up. A Gnostic story says that at life's end, the soul dips into a lagoon where the water whispers its full story, not to judge, but so the soul can hear itself. And if it listens with an open heart, it is freed. Water that feels isn't just poetic. It's a real spiritual and biological fact. Treated like a sacred archive, water reveals itself not in words, but in feelings, dreams, and tears that cleanse without explanation. Remember, memory isn't stuck in the past. It lives in water, and water is always here. Practical exercise: the bowl of remembrance. For 7 nights, place a bowl of pure water under your bed, right beneath your head. Before sleeping, sit quietly with your palms hovering over the bowl and whisper, "If I have forgotten anything, let it come back. If I have not healed anything, let it go. If I was someone else, let me remember." Don't expect clear dreams. Let the water work silently in your soul. If feelings come up without reason, let them flow, cry, write, rest. On the 7th morning, pour the water onto the earth or at the base of a tree like you're sending a sealed letter, and say, "Thank you for remembering for me. Thank you for holding me." Chapter 12. The Water of Forgiveness. How to erase the pain's programming. Water cleanses, but not just by touching. It cleanses by resonance, not by chemical makeup, but by spiritual vibration. It's not the H2O itself that heals, but the way it vibrates when it meets truth, compassion, and surrender. And out of all vibrations, forgiveness is the most powerful to change the water inside your body. True forgiveness isn't about forgetting, giving up, or running away. It's a vibration that rewrites the emotional pain locked inside your inner water. It's a spiritual tool that frees memories trapped in guilt, anger, or old wounds. When Jesus told the Samaritan woman, "Whoever drinks the water I give will never thirst again," John 4:14, he wasn't talking about a magic liquid or just a metaphor. He was talking about a kind of water that doesn't carry the past, doesn't hold pain, a water activated by forgiveness. This water doesn't just quench your physical thirst, it satisfies the soul's deep need to stop suffering. And that happens only when guilt is released, judgment disappears, and emotions are healed. Then water stops reflecting trauma and becomes a memory of freedom. Science shows that strong emotions create patterns in the brain and nervous system. Every time a painful memory that hasn't been forgiven comes up, the body reacts. Stress hormones rise, muscles tighten, gut bacteria change, and the water inside cells becomes more acidic. That pain lives not just in the brain, but in the water around each cell. This water becomes chaotic and loses its ability to communicate, nourish, and oxygenate. But when someone truly forgives, when they understand, let go, and reorder their feelings, the heart's electromagnetic field changes, and so does the structure of the water inside. The HeartMath Institute found that feelings like gratitude and compassion create a balanced heart rhythm that helps regulate the nervous system, balance hormones, and restore order to the water in the body. Forgiveness, when felt deeply and vibrationally, not just intellectually, can reduce chronic inflammation, boost the immune system, and open energy channels that have been blocked for years. Forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it frees the energy stuck in it, and water makes this possible. The Hawaiian Ho'oponopono practice understood this well. It's not about saying sorry, but about clearing memory. It's simple phrases: "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you," work like a vibration that heals the inner water. Each phrase has a job. "I'm sorry" opens the door to recognition. "Please forgive me" breaks down the ego, keeping the pain alive. "Thank you" brings gratitude that rebuilds, and "I love you" restores unity. Repeating this with intention has been shown to help heal people, resolve conflicts, and bring emotional balance, not by trying to control things, but because aligned consciousness turns the water inside into a healing balm. Mystical traditions say similar things. Kabbalah teaches that forgiveness returns waters to their pure state. Sufism says those who won't forgive drink stagnant water from their own souls. The Upanishads say that every negative emotion left unresolved clogs the subtle energy channels in the body. But what about pain that's real and deep, like physical hurt? Forgiveness doesn't erase what happened. It frees the energy attached to it, and water does that work. Just like water can be programmed with a word, it can be freed from trapped memories through an act of presence. The body knows how to do this. The soul wants to. All it takes is a ritual. A woman once told me she couldn't forgive her mother for abandoning her. Nothing worked. Therapy, distance, or willpower. One day, with no special tools, she sat before a bowl of water and spoke to it as if it were her mother. She cried, she yelled, then said, "Enough. I release you. I release myself." She drank that water without thinking, and for the first time in decades, she slept peacefully. It wasn't magic, it was her cells resonating with an act of truth. The water of forgiveness can't be bought, made, or sold. It has to be activated, and once it is, it cleanses memory and reshapes the future, because what isn't forgiven repeats, and what is forgiven fades away. Practical exercise: water of forgiveness. For 7 nights, do this ritual before bed. Fill a glass with water and place it in front of you. Breathe deeply. Think of a person, situation, or feeling you haven't forgiven. Put your hands around the glass and whisper, "This water takes what my soul can't hold anymore. This water dissolves what I can't release. This water frees me." Stay silent for a few minutes. If tears come, let them flow. Drink the water slowly, as if you're cleansing from inside. Repeat this for a week. Don't expect to understand it right away. Just let the water do its work. Water knows how to forgive, and it's done it millions of times before. Chapter 13. The Water That Heals: Science, Spirit, and the Unquestionable Truth. Water has been with us long before we had bodies. Before we were born, it surrounded us. Before we even thought, it kept us alive in its clear embrace. Science calls it a resource. Religion sees it as a symbol, and medicine treats it as a carrier. But in reality, water has been the invisible force shaping the soul's transformation. Today, in this time of big changes and new discoveries, it's not enough to just drink water. We have to recognize it as our teacher. This final chapter isn't an ending, but a coming back, a merging of science and spiritual insight, ancient chants and modern research. Water isn't just a topic here, it's the main character in human evolution. Not because it's something new, but because now we're finally ready to see what it truly is. Spirit made visible in matter. For years, medicine missed the most obvious thing. In every case of spontaneous healing, sudden recovery, or unexplained balance, there's one common factor. The structure of the body's water changed. It's not just about organs or hormones or nerves. It's about the liquid system inside us, reorganized by higher consciousness. In 1994, Russian physicist Dr. Konstantin Korotkov developed a way to measure the energy field of water after it touched different human emotions. What he found was amazing. Water exposed to someone feeling forgiveness, prayer, or gratitude changed its energy pattern, stabilized its structure, and later helped balance the person's own energy when they drank it. Simply put, water changes, and then it changes us. In Japan, some hospitals now treat their water with sound frequencies, sacred music, and positive affirmations before giving it to patients. Though not widely publicized, these living water methods have helped patients recover up to 35% faster. Quantum medicine, still on the edge of mainstream science, says that the energy state of a field shapes the matter inside it. Since our bodies are about 70% water, the state of that water affects our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. But this isn't new. Ancient healers knew it. In the temples of Asclepius, sick people bathed in water prepared with sound, herbs, prayers, and sacred geometry. Healing didn't come from chemicals, but from reconnecting with the soul through the water's vibration. Indigenous cultures understood that a river could heal if spoken to honestly, that tears could free generations when offered to the earth with gratitude, and that a carefully prepared infusion could be medicine. Today, neuroscience talks about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. Epigenetics shows genes can be switched on or off by signals from the environment. What's rarely said is that those signals reach our DNA through water. Every new belief, every strong feeling changes the molecular makeup of water inside our cells and changes our lives. What you think, feel, and believe flows first through water. And when water changes, you change. The future will be shaped by water, or it won't come at all. For centuries, the world has been stuck in rigid systems, emotional droughts, and heavy patterns. But what's happening now isn't just a new system, it's a new vibration. And that vibration only lives in fluid, open, resonant minds. It's no accident that the age of Aquarius, the water bearer, is starting. This isn't just about the zodiac, it's about awakening the water symbol as the channel of collective awareness. Aquarius isn't physical water, it's flowing consciousness, it's connection, it's vibration. So each of us is called to become the alchemist of our own water, not just as a metaphor, but as real practice. Whoever learns to reprogram their inner water with words, silence, and truth changes their body, mind, and world, and lifts humanity's energy too. A woman once told me that after years of chronic illness, she began speaking to the water she drank every morning. She didn't ask or pray, she just said, "Thank you for being with me. Thank you for reminding me I can heal." She did this every day for 3 months. Her body changed, her energy shifted, her lab results improved. When her doctor told her the illness markers were gone, she simply said, "My water listened to me." Water, when treated with love, gives that love back as health. When honored, it becomes a partner. When listened to, it reveals its voice. A voice that doesn't shout but sings the vibration of who you really are. It sings the truth that life doesn't force but flows. This book isn't just ideas, it's a mirror. And if something in you responded, it's because your water already knew it. Now it's your turn to remember, to care for your water, speak to it honestly, drink it with awareness, and activate it as the key to your soul. Final exercise, the inner alchemist. For the next 21 days, when you wake up, drink a glass of water in silence. Before drinking, hold the glass with both hands and say 3 times, "This body is a sacred river. Every cell sings my truth. This water reminds me who I am." Then drink slowly, not just to hydrate, but to receive the universe's purest message, to be one with the source. Do this for 3 weeks, not as a chore, but as a sacred act. What will change your life isn't just knowledge. It's what you do with the water already inside you.